What is up? Welcome into this Tuesday morning edition of Pushing the Pile, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Horrible yesterday.
Yeah, that was fun. Unfortunate for Jim. Unfortunate for Justin. I know we have a lot of thoughts on it, but my initial reactions are, what a game. And it could have been even better. And there were some unfortunate drops in that game. But
you think?
There's a lot more to the game than that.
You think?
There's a lot more to the game than that.
Of course.
The clock struck midnight. Quentin Johnston turned back into a pumpkin.
Yep.
That was pretty amazing to watch. I mean, talk about the yips.
What do you do moving forward, Pete, with a guy like Quentin Johnston in your lineup?
Go put him on the jugs machine and get him to catch the football.
I think
He's had a good year
because he had like one drop. I think it was a Cleveland game. He had like a back shoulder that he kind of fumbled, but like hadn't had a drop this year. Like it was
Did
like
he have two last night?
He had three.
Was there three?
Four,
yeah, it was one on the crosser.
That was a bad one.
The yak action
was the one that kind of like ended the game. If they convert that, they could have come back into it. And then when they were in the last 2-minute drive, just to try to score, he dropped back-to-back plays.
Yeah.
So
if I'm an OC,
it's the yips.
If I'm in the Chargers building, I say the next time we drop this first 15, I need at least 4 to 5
screens.
Gimmies
Give him,
Quentin Johnston. Get the ball in his hand early and often. If he drops it, have another opportunity, waiting in the wings to give to him.
Maybe he had a bad night the night
He
before.
gets open.
Maybe he had something going on at home. Because he hadn't been dropping the ball. He's been good this year.
But also, I agree with that point because his first target was not, or catchable target was not until the fourth quarter. It was not until that play that he dropped.
Yeah, because the one on the sideline wasn't catchable.
Yeah, it wasn't. He wasn't going to haul that in.
Dude, because the cavalry's not going to arrive. We're too late in the season for, making trades, making moves. You got to get this guy involved because he can be a huge part of your offense.
The thing is, he can actually get open on certain routes. He's not a full free route runner, but he can get open, and that's the guy you need. Like you don't have that many guys there in LA that can. So it's a guy that you need to
get
whatever that is.
Up.
Here's the thing that stood out from that game. And going in, and I picked the Chargers like an idiot. I don't know why, but
we all did.
When you really look deeper into the numbers, that team went into that game giving up 4.7 per rush on the ground. And
that's too high defense. They're pure too high.
But not more than that, they're little. Mm-hmm. They're tiny. When you look at that defensive front, they're little. The linebackers that were playing, because Perriman wasn't in there, they're 225. They're 225.
Denzel.
Puna Ford is 5'11", 300. They're tiny. They're a little defense. And little defenses get pushed around, and the Ravens pushed them around last night.
Yeah, they did. They did a great job of it. I mean, Derrick Henry is so much fun to watch. Lamar Jackson looked like high school Lamar at times, when he goes out to that right pylon for that touchdown and gives the old Harry Houdini there at the goal line. We've seen that move since he was the Boynton Beach bad boy here in South Florida, right down the road from our studio. And I mean, I remember watching him. I didn't even know who the hell he was coming out. And we would watch these highlight films of this kid in Florida playing football. And I said, first off, he's too skinny. He'll never play quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And now you look now and he's dominating in prime time. So much fun to watch. You have to give so much credit to this coaching staff, taking this team across the country and handling your business. And there's a lot of question marks about this Ravens football team, and they answered a lot of them last night. They were without Roquan Smith, who's a big-time leader on that defense, but they handled their business.
Yeah, I think the play of these corners was probably the most encouraging thing. Now it's like not the most difficult of matchups going up against the Chargers, whatnot, but Wiggins had a few PBUs. Humphrey had a couple PBUs. Like all the corners.
White was in the game running around like a young buck.
They've started taking snaps away from Stevens, who had a rough go of it, and he's been playing. White played, I think, 25 plays last week. He played a bunch this week, and that's important. They also made the change on the back end where they sat down Marcus Williams and played Washington, and that is a much better move for them. Yeah. So I think the secondary's improved. That's big. They made the move.
Ar'Darius Washington, small. Not a box guy, but he at least knows coverage. Like he is not going to blow coverages the way Marcus Williams.
Correct.
Marcus Williams was a liability.
And Marcus Williams wasn't tackling anybody either.
Yeah.
How about that Rashad Bateman moonball? How about that?
Great catch.
It was like,
that's the thing about early in that game. Lamar was off early in the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great throw. It wasn't a great throwing game.
I almost early in the game, I was gonna, if it kind of continued that route, I was going to say, is it January again? Because it was like what we saw last week. I mean, because that's how we started, but then obviously
they must not have told him it was a big game, a playoff. They should have said it's a playoff game.
Week 4.
It's a playoff game.
It's only
playoff game.
Lamar.
No, Lamar, it's a playoff game. If you're playing them, like if you're the Eagles, if you're the Eagles this week,
what are you doing for Christmas?
Playoff game. Playoff game.
Do we think now the Ravens can overtake the Steelers and win the AFC North? Who do we think wins that division? Because
they're the better team.
Yep.
I don't care what
that game to me didn't really matter at all for the Chargers. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think that's up for debate. It's just which wild card will they be?
Yeah,
they weren't going to overtake the Chiefs anyways. So the Ravens, though, they have a real shot of overtaking the Steelers.
I agree. Now I think they do. They're the better team.
Game back, and they play them one more time. So.
Yeah, and they're when you look at them, if you had to pick on it, if
they're the better team,
much better team.
More, I think
they lost to them, but they're the better team.
They have the ability to be explosive on the ground and through the air. They've got a lot of guys who are going to be coming around defensively. Obviously, they have they have the ability to play a lot higher than they have statistically defensively. So I think they can turn it on when this thing comes crunch time.
They rushed the passer better last night. That was important too.
Van Noy.
Yeah, and Owe too. I mean, they got after it.
Ravens remaining schedule: Eagles, Giants, Steelers, Texans, Browns. They obviously have that bye week in a couple weeks. Steelers remaining schedule: Bengals, Browns, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals.
They got the Bengals twice, and you don't want to play the Bengals twice.
Play the Bengals twice right now, especially if
you do
they win a few in a row here. If they win next week over the Steelers, then they're going to.
I think the Ravens overtake them.
Okay. Yeah, I do too, actually. And as unfortunately, because I think the Steelers are a darn good team, but just Ravens are better.
Are they really? And the reason I say this, you go deeper into their numbers, you think they run the ball great, 4.0 per rush.
No, they're not. I know they don't run the ball.
Okay. Yeah. Do they rush the passer great? They're middle of the pack rushing the passer. They're just well coached.
They're middle of the pack rushing the passer because everyone knows it's one of those chicken or the egg. Everyone knows you have to just game plan around that D line. You can't.
But you still, if you're if you got a TJ Watt, you're middle of the pack. That's not good enough. They got to be better rushing the passer. I think they.
And
have
it's not just TJ Watt. I mean, they've got guys, but they just can't find a way to get home the same way that they have historically.
Yeah, and so when you look at the Steelers and you say to yourself, what do they do really well?
Rush the passer.
They're middle.
They finish over 500 really well.
Right, they're well coached.
Yeah.
That's the point.
They're just consistently in games, gritty games. I mean, I was talking to Trubisky, who was on his bye week last week. I went and played some golf with him, and I was just picking his brain because he's been in a few of these buildings that I don't really know much about, Pittsburgh, Buffalo. And I was asking him about those ugly games, and Tomlin really just likes to muddy up these games and make them ugly because he feels like they do have that advantage in coaching. And if it's close, as you know, it often comes down to coaching. You stiffed
me to play golf with Trubisky?
I did.
Holy cow. I couldn't play on Friday anyways. But did you play Friday?
Well, we went to the beach. We had like a little family get together at the beach Thursday, and then we just, scheduled Friday, a little golf thing.
You play Friday
Morning, early.
When we were supposed to play.
Yes.
And you stiffed me.
Yes.
No, actually, I couldn't play, but I told him, he did tell me, I could have played with you and Trubisky.
But I told you this.
Yeah, you did.
How's Turbo on the links?
He's got some pop, dude.
Yeah.
Guy's got some juice. He's a competitor, too. Bad shot. He forgets it. He's just on to the next one. He's such a quarterback in that regard. Like, moving on.
Where you're just like.
I'm pissed until I hit the
Me
ball.
Too.
And it bleeds over into my swing.
Me too.
Next one.
Me too.
All right, we're going to take a quick break after that. Going to get to Pete's power rankings in our coveted Goldilocks segment.
Had me up late last night looking at.
It's a team almost too good to be true. It's a team almost too. It's a team almost too good to be true.
You guys ain't ready for us.
Kick your game day off right as the Tops team tackles all the biggest headlines around the league.
Who's got two thumbs?
All right, now it's time for our Goldilocks segment sponsored by Travis Matthew. It is apparel designed for comfort, and really, we look great and we're confident. And our guy Pete got his package from Travis Matthew. So you must have been a comfy, handsome dude writing your power rankings list last night.
I got this shirt in the light color, and I wore it the other day.
So you stopped making fun of me for wearing it every day because you see how damn comfortable it is.
Yeah, but you do wear it every day.
It's the best shirt.
They must do wash in the longhouse every day, or they don't or that thing's
the best. It doesn't shrink. It fits well. I look jacked in it, more jacked than I actually am. And it's just really comfortable.
Yeah, I agree.
And all that equals confidence.
It was so comfortable. It really is. And this is comfortable too.
So who wants to lead off this
Goldilocks? Here we go.
The top 10, bottom 5, as I always do, and then we'll kick it off with you.
Here we go.
Who's too high? So top 10. Detroit Lions. Top of the pack at number 1. Buffalo Bills at number 2. Kansas City Chiefs at 3. Philadelphia Eagles 4, Minnesota Vikings 5, Baltimore Ravens 6, Green Bay Packers 7, Los Angeles Chargers at 8. Not much of a drop for them. Pittsburgh Steelers at 9, and then the Denver Broncos round out your top 10. Those are the top 10 teams in the NFL as it stands right now. According to Pete Prisco, bottom 5, New York Jets at 28, Carolina Panthers 29, disrespectful. New York Giants at 30, Las Vegas Raiders at 31, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars at 32. Not a lot of surprises on the back end. But who was a surprise to you, Kyle, in that they were too high on these rankings?
Too high in this ranking is the Minnesota Vikings. And I've said this since like week whatever, when they were undefeated still. I was like, something smells fishy here. And Sam Darnold, yes, he had a good week last week, but he got outperformed by a rookie in one of those wild finishes that we saw in Chicago. But at the end of the day, you got to be beating the brakes off of a team in division with a rookie quarterback when you've got a defensive coordinator like Brian Flores and you've got that blitz package. You need to make life a living hell. I didn't see that for Caleb Williams. It was his best game of the year. They've got an interim OC. They've got a coach who's one step out the door in the head coaching spot. And I know that's Bears stuff, but the Vikings, I haven't bought it from the beginning. And I think to your point about some of these teams being little on the inside defensively, they can be manhandled a little bit on that front. And you talk about it. You said, I give you credit. Like 6 weeks ago, you said, I just don't think they're big enough, Minnesota defensively.
And they've actually done a good job against the run. That's the amazing thing about it.
But I watched on a couple of these snaps last week, this Minnesota defensive line allow Caleb Williams to stand back there for 12 seconds. And these aren't world beaters, the Chicago Bears up front. No. And that concerns me when you're going to be going against some of these elite groups, particularly in the NFC on the offensive lines. That scares me.
And then there's always the Darnold factor.
Yes, the Jekyll and Hyde.
When does he?
I don't want to beat that dead horse, but you're right.
Yeah. When does he become Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
Or does he become Sam Darnold? I mean, look, somebody asked me the other day, said, okay, he's playing for a contract next year. What are you giving him and who's giving it to him?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
I know what you mean.
You're going to tell me that the Baltimore Ravens, who are ranked below them, wouldn't just like run for 300 yards against that group? 400 yards against that group?
You got to give them credit for what they've done.
I do.
They went out on the road and won
three
straight road games, which is brutal in the NFL, and won all of them. Now, they weren't great in any of them, but they won them all. But I'm with you. But they've earned the right to be there where they are. But they've earned it.
But that's the one where I give them the old sniff test.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with you.
I can't say anything too negative about the Vikings because they do keep winning it, and I think their coaching staff is amongst it is a top 5, if not higher, coaching staff, probably top 3 in the NFL. Right?
Great,
it's truly like both sides of the football. Every week they have a great plan. So they are in every game, like even against the Lions, number 1 team in the NFL. They lost by 2. Right? Like, they are in every single game. So you can quibble about should the Ravens be higher, sure, but their floor is 6 in my opinion. So maybe
their numbers are down without Darisaw, by the way. That's you look at their offensive numbers.
He was calling the undefeated back-to-back world champion Kansas City Chiefs frauds, and they were 10-0. And now you're saying that this Vikings team, I'm
not putting them at 1
because they win.
Yeah,
I wasn't putting the Vikings at 1
Yeah, but they were undefeated. There's a difference between 6-0 and 10-0. There's a difference between Andy Reid and Kevin O'Connell, in my opinion.
Me and you are think the Vikings might be a little bit.
I just have my doubts about them when it comes down to it.
But they've earned the right to be where they're at.
Yeah. And I think, correct. And the same, like, if you were to put the Chiefs any lower than 5, I'd be like, no, they're a top 5 team still.
Right. After what I saw last week, I'd put them at 8 for this week or 7. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. See, like I don't.
They went to Carolina.
You win in the NFL. I don't care. You won.
Look, you guys are mansplaining.
It's hard enough to do
to somebody who gets it. But
all that being said,
you asked for my opinion.
My team that's too high right now is the Kansas City Chiefs.
There you go.
Just because I think the Eagles are the much better team right now.
Yeah,
I don't even think that's debatable. Eagles at 4 versus the Chiefs at 3. I think they are. If they were on a neutral field right now, head to head, the Eagles are a 3.
Let's go into the Eagles a little bit. The Eagles are
all right.
They've been great lately, but let's go back a couple of weeks ago when Jacksonville had the ball at the 12-yard line late in the game, first and 10.
True.
With a chance to win the game, and they threw a wheel route to Dearness Johnson, and it was intercepted in the end zone.
Players make plays. Go team.
Right. But the bottom line is Jacksonville stinks, and they at Philly could have and probably should have won the game. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got to. Everybody has flaws. I get it, but the Eagles look great. So we're a prisoner of the moment. I get it. And the Chiefs haven't looked great the last couple of weeks, but they have Patrick Mahomes in winning games. Give me a.
All right. I just think 3. That's fine, but I just think the Eagles. I would swap them. That's my point. That's my point. Who's too low?
You guys are entitled to your wrong opinions. I get it.
Too low for me is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So they are at 16 right now.
Yeah, they're at 16. They're going to win. They're going to win out.
I tend to agree with you that they're going to win the division.
They're going to win out. The Falcons are going to push a pile in a bad way. They're going to have a couple hiccups. The Bucs are going to roll. They're going to get healthy. I love Liam Cohen. I've been beating this drum for a few weeks. Baker Mayfield is unbelievable. And they're going to climb a spot. They're going to climb a spot or two every week, I feel like. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out where they could end up by season's end, but they're too low for me.
I do like the Bucs right now more than probably the Texans from what I've seen, probably more than the Cardinals. Like if they were just neutral field, those two teams, I'm thinking I'd rather have the Bucs.
I mean, it's close, but I think they're going in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
And they're getting guys back. You got the corners back there. You get guys back, and that's the most important thing. They played injured all year.
They played injured and got better.
Having Cansey playing the way he's starting to play now is really big. Remember, he missed a big chunk of the season, beginning of the season. That guy can really push the pocket and become a dominant player. And you saw that last week against the Giants. I think this team you're right. They're moving in the right direction. They'll be higher than that by the end of the year.
All right, my team that's too low, Miami Dolphins. One spot ahead of the Bucs at 15.
There you go.
They're hot, man.
Who do they play? Wait, this is one of those. I don't think I'm going to get my Christmas present this week, hoping you get the Christmas present. Don't they? Oh, wait, they play the Packers this week.
Oh, they play the Packers on Thursday night.
There you go.
On Thanksgiving. But since Tua's back. Heartbreaking loss at the end of the Cardinals game. Heartbreaking loss at the end of the Bills game in Buffalo. Played Buffalo closer than anyone has in a while.
Home loss to the Cardinals, by the way. Home loss.
First game, Tua back.
Home loss.
First game, Tua back. And then they beat the Rams, blew out the Raiders, blew out the Patriots. The offense is just as good as any offense in the NFL right now. It looks back to what we always thought they'd be. I just think the record, obviously 5-6, isn't going to be reflective of who they are right now because a lot of those 6 losses, let me count it up right now. 1, 2, 3 of those 6 losses were when Tua was not even on the field. And just you see the night and day difference between this team with Tua, this team without Tua, and
we'll know more about that.
Something happened to Tua, man. Something happened to that guy when he got that last one. I'm serious. Like he just seems edgier right? Doesn't he seem a little bit?
I mean, he's all in.
He's got that chip on his shoulder.
He's got nothing to lose right now.
That chip on his shoulder is so big. He's like,
he had everything to lose, and thankfully it didn't lose it. And that's the best thing about it.
I'm super happy for him.
He's playing. Look, I've been hesitant on anointing. He's been fantastic the last 4 weeks.
Matt Ryan came on the pod yesterday and said that he mentioned WAR rating in baseball, wins above replacement, and that he thinks that Tua Tagovailoa. Sorry, I've been saying that wrong for like 8 years. I didn't know that there's an N in there, but I looked up the pronunciation. Tua Tagovailoa. He said that he's got the best WAR in the NFL.
So he said that. I didn't push back too much.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
want to
sure
hear
if
you.
He's like that's not actually how WAR works.
Yeah, you get what he's saying.
I know what he's saying. The sentiment of it, which is just like a proxy for value, right? Is all wins above replacement is, and so. Is he the most valuable? Like everyone always talks about if you took this guy off the team as being a proxy for the most valuable, which I don't think is like a fair assessment always because, some teams are going to be better off when they take their quarterback off than others. Because if you have a really good backup or whatever, or if you have a really good scheme, but some guys are still just better.
Miami
and are
botched
more.
The backup situation.
But
that's
Miami,
the problem.
Obviously, the botched the backup situation. You were playing a guy who wasn't even there. And Tyler Huntley at the start of the season.
Twice. They played 2 guys already.
So it was
Thompson, then they played Huntley, then they played
more GM malpractice in my opinion.
Because they had a guy Mike White was on the roster and they cut him and they didn't even bring him back.
Yeah.
So they botched that. That was more than not having Tua. They botched it.
But I do think people have a newfound appreciation for Tua and what he brings to the table.
Oh, no doubt.
He's a product of Mike McDaniel is so ill-founded. I always thought it was ill-founded because when you watched him the year before, I thought he was good the year before. It's just you could tell the scheme was holding him back, and you could tell the lack of talent was holding him back the year before McDaniel, the year before Tyreek. And now you don't put up numbers like that by being Jimmy Garoppolo.
If they go to Green Bay in the conditions on Thursday and he doesn't play well, the narrative will be there that they're the same team they always are.
Well, I do still worry about cold weather. I mean, it's real when you don't have a big arm.
It's real for anybody. But luckily for them, a lot of their explosives are on or around the line of scrimmage. I mean, they're screen games to both sides.
But historically, they've been that team and they still haven't played well.
But you can go play that game and have success if you are employing that non-explosive down the field, doesn't matter, non-denominational as it pertains to the weather. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just going to run the football, keep it around the line of scrimmage. They've got so much explosive,
but they haven't
talent. You don't have to go down the field with it.
But they haven't.
They could, though, this week against your guy Halfley.
Thursday in Green Bay, high of 32, 20% chance to participate.
Let's go, baby. They'll never expect Tua to show up.
That's what you like to see.
Okay, so
look at the happy Green Bay fan.
Now we're going to go just right, okay? The teams rank just right. And just right, when I say just right, I mean like this shirt, like this vest from Travis Matthew, which are just right. Just like this shirt. It looks beautiful. It was like it was almost tailored to perfection for you. And you know what? On the power rankings, the Chicago Bears are just right where they are. Can you remind me again? They're the number 22 team in the National Football League. This is a group that at the beginning of the year, we said it's the best situation that any rookie quarterback has ever gone into. I heard people on major networks say the words Bears and Super and Bowl together in the same sentence. And now I want to vomit a little bit. But recently, I've been very happy because Caleb Williams, Thomas Brown, they've proved to me some stuff on offense. But as a whole, as a team, as a unit, from field goal protection to receiving punts effectively to being able to scheme up a defense and Hail Mary, got to have it end of game situations, this team belongs at 22. I have no issue with saying that they're going to climb rapidly next year. But right now, they have earned it, 22.
I before the season, I said my prediction was they are a year away.
Yeah.
And they are a year away. And
there's good stuff.
Who's the coach?
But there's bad
That's
stuff.
The question.
Well, if they want to retain a guy like Thomas Brown on the offensive side of the ball, because it's going to be really tough to go get a guy like Ben Johnson, right? I mean, which is who everybody wants to get in Chicago. You can't pluck. Some of these names that I love are stuck where they're at, so you can't pluck them. You've got a guy and Thomas Brown, who's obviously got a good rapport going with this group. I saw DJ Moore smile on the sideline last week, which
is a first.
I haven't seen in eons.
He didn't since he signed his contract at training camp.
Exactly. Or like when his family's at.
So you got to get a head coach, though.
Mike Vrabel. I don't know.
Bring some toughness to him.
Come on. So I heard Lance Briggs talking about this on the radio. Lance Briggs, one of the baddest dudes ever. You know this.
Oh, Lance Briggs.
And he was saying the problem is they haven't matched up someone who's made for Chicago yet as a head coach. And when I think about a guy like Mike Vrabel, do it all, blue collar, gritty.
Like Ditka.
Dude, come on.
Like Ditka.
Come on now. And thoughts and prayers for Ditka. He's not doing too well right now, but we're going to be thinking about old coach.
I will just say, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, I had the Bears on my too high list when they were like 11.
That's good. Do the siren. Do the siren.
Apology siren.
Do the I called it siren.
Thank you.
We needed that soundboard, dude.
Everybody always likes to be right, don't they?
Yes.
Never admit when you're wrong.
When I'm correct about the Bears, it just makes me feel that much better.
Yeah.
This is good.
My just right Goldilocks team, San Francisco 49ers at 18. You're just too banged up.
Yep.
You're too without Nick Bosa, and obviously without Brock Purdy, they're even lower than this. But like even with Brock Purdy, you can't expect to be consistent when you're trying to do a new lineup every single week. And that's
Are they done?
They're done. I think they're done. Their schedule is too difficult.
And they're talking about whether Purdy can even play this week, too. And they got the Bills this week.
I don't think it matters. It's more if Bosa can play because that defense was getting shredded.
And the defense hasn't been great this year, period.
The front seven is just completely different. Yeah. I mean, no Dre Greenlaw, no Chase Young. And obviously it's great, but no Eric Armstead.
They could have
no Javon Hargrave.
They could have him back and he wouldn't impact anything. Yeah. It's been awful.
But even just like know his impact if you think about what he did last year.
Space eater.
Big guy that doesn't make any plays.
No Javon Hargrave.
Yeah.
So when you lose 3 of your 4 pass rushers, it's like, oh, why can't we rush the passer? It's because you don't have anyone anymore. It's just
they don't have
the team that was
edge
there
on
is
defense
not
that they
there
normally
anymore.
had. They don't remember the 49ers always were nasty.
Dude, when the 49ers took the field against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, that first few drives, it was like, oh my God, the Kansas City Chiefs are in trouble because this Niners group is a badass bunch.
Right.
I don't feel that right now.
No, not at all.
But they're not. And they have the Bills, Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Lions, Cardinals remaining.
They're toast.
You can't
The only thing is that division is,
you don't have one layup on.
But the only thing is that division is so average at best.
Well, but the thing is so average, but you have to. But it's so average that every single team is right at your level right now. You know, it's no like, oh, we just have to overcome this one team who they could slip, and then we get to the top.
Seattle plays the Jets, then they play a rematch with Arizona next week. At Arizona, they could lose both those games. As bad as the Jets are, that Seattle could lose both those games, and then it's wide open.
But even if they win 4 of their next 6, which I think is a high mark
for the Niners,
because you still have the Bills this week, and maybe without Purdy, and then the Lions.
Right.
So it's like if you win 4 of your next 6, say you sweep the Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Cardinals, you still might miss the playoffs,
right?
Because someone could still get to 10. So it's
not a good team right now.
All right, that was the Goldilocks segment brought to you by Travis Matthew, apparel designed for confidence and comfort, no matter where the day takes you.
We're going to take a quick break. After this, going to hit up our debate segment. Up next.
Should be a good one. Stick around.
All right. Will Saquon Barkley have the best running back season of all time? For some context, he's on pace to break Eric Dickerson's rushing record at the moment, 2,105 yards. He might do it.
Now, Dickerson did it.
He did it in 16 games.
Yeah.
He may go over 2,000 in 16 games.
Right.
Though.
But
which is wild. I say yes, of course. And when you think about the production that he's had, it's obvious that you can make this argument for yes. But when I think about context and I zoom out a little bit and think about where he's been as a player, all that was expected of him in New York, the situation that he had to deal with that offensive line, the injuries they had, lack of talent. Now you get an opportunity to go to Philadelphia. I just feel like it is the perfect storm. It's like when you go to the casino, you pull that lever and it's 777. And that's Saquon Barkley when he wakes up nowadays. And for a long time, it wasn't that. Wearing that Giants uniform, getting pounded all the time. And now he's in Philadelphia, and he's just so much fun to watch. I'm rooting for him to break these records so I can say I saw it. And I've got some buddies on that Philadelphia offensive line, so it'll be a lot of fun
they're good on that
to watch
offensive
them help
line.
him out.
My gosh.
Because it's not only a running back award here.
Right.
These guys tied to that are going to be a big part of it.
The two offenses that are exhibit A on why you draft the big guys across the board are the Eagles and the Lions.
Yep.
They make it all go. All of it. Every bit of it. Jared Goff, good player. The line makes it go. He stands back there all day. The play action pass and the ability to run the ball. Same with the Eagles. It's all those offensive line. They're physical. That's why I gave you crap if we put Travis Hunter number 1. You ain't taking Travis Hunter. There's only so many big guys on the planet who can play the position.
To Travis Hunter if you don't got some big Billy.
And there's a million receivers. Look, he's a great receiver. There's a million of them out there. A million corners. There are only so many big people who can play the game well, and that's why you draft big
It's like
guys.
when you watch the NBA, there's only so many 7-footers that are coordinated enough to do this and like willing to be physical. So like if a Shaq type comes around, you sign that guy up immediately. And you see like a Penei Sewell in Detroit.
Like Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, it was the debate, right?
Yes. And
both of them have been great. But the way the Lions play, he fits with what they do perfectly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, is it the greatest? OJ had 2,014 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So I struggle.
OJ's got a longer rap sheet.
Just because, but he is
allegedly.
I mean, the tear he's on right now over the past 6 games, you just extrapolate that continues the rest of the season. He could go 2,300.
How many touchdowns does he have?
How many does he have?
He doesn't have a lot of touchdowns, does he?
He does not. He has 10 touchdowns.
Okay, go to OJ's 70. Was it 73 or 72? Was it
the best running back I remember season? I know CJ2K went
Johnson,
2,000 in my lifetime. Adrian Peterson went 2,000.
Oh,
Derrick Henry went 2,000. But that 1 year LT where he had 28 touchdowns was insane because it felt like they could have poured it on every team. Like if so many games. It felt like they went off the gas pedal because they're 14-2 that year. They were blowing people out.
I
He won
forget
the
that. They were
MVP.
14-2.
I mean, it was
It was
insane
amazing. That was an amazing season.
And he
What
was.
year was that?
2006.
Jeez.
And he had 500 receiving yards that year too.
That was my
He
first year of football.
Everything.
Go to OJ. Look at OJ's.
OJ's.
It was at 73 or 72. He did that. 3.
R.I.P. OJ.
73. Thank you.
73, 2,003 yards, 12 touchdowns in 14 games, averaged 143 yards per game. I think that may still be there.
Oh, what's Barkley averaging per game? Russian. It's like probably not close to that.
Not close to that.
Like
Indeed,
98?
He's averaging 126.
126.
Yeah. Which is special, but it ain't 143
Yeah, you're
in
right.
an era where they pitched it to OJ and said, "Go, OJ, go."
Yep.
I mean, it's different. It was a different time. He was phenomenal that year,
He had milkmen chasing
and
him.
he had a
I'm
great.
just kidding. I'm
he had
just
a great-
kidding.
Classic.
I'm just kidding.
He had a
Oh,
great
that's
offense-
kidding. My
he had a
dad
great
would beat
off-
my ass if
He
I
had a
said
great
something
offensive.
like
He
that.
had a great offensive line too.
I'm so afraid to
Electric
say anything
company.
about history.
You know, they had. If you ever want to go back and watch old offensive line guard play, they had 2 guards, Joe DeLamelier and Reggie McKenzie. They were fantastic.
They were running around like this.
Because you couldn't grab, right? The rule used to be you literally could not grab.
Yeah.
Which how do you even
right?
attempt to block? But
I'm
You
just
remember, it was
kidding.
like, you know what it was like? It was like remember the old electric football? Everybody, the blockers were all like that. That's
Yeah. It's on like the little pads that
Yeah.
vibrate around.
You know, I hated that game. You couldn't pass. I was a kid. I remember being like
you wanted to
6.
throw moon balls.
I wanted to throw it there. Remember? Do you remember the electric football?
I do.
And so we play electric football, and I was like, remember being like 6 years old. I go, Dad, you can't pass. You need to throw the day. I was ahead of the time.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Which Harbaugh do you pick to coach your NFL team?
Jim. Simply because the Ravens have gotten in trouble for wearing pads in the offseason before. And I want my guys to be well in the playoffs, not during, the season. I want my unit to be the best. Also, Jim Harbaugh has a childish disposition
Yep.
that I
It's
love.
more fun.
He's weird.
He's weird.
I need a weirdo,
but
dude.
you're
All the good ones are weird.
you were hanging
Name a
on
good
this-
one. Name a good one.
You do this. This is entertainment the
Shula?
other day.
Don't know him like that.
Belichick?
Weird.
Definitely weird. He cut off
Yeah.
his sleeves.
Let's
Yeah.
play this game.
Just,
Yeah.
Name one. I'll call him weird.
Is Sean Payton weird?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
In-
they're
in
all
a good
weird.
way.
Painkillers.
Yeah, they're all weird.
In
They're
a
all
good
weird.
way. Wait,
They're-
what?
he was addicted to painkiller, wasn't he?
I don't
Allegedly.
know. I don't know.
Allegedly.
But you know what?
Yeah.
But
I said
weird.
allegedly.
Weird. I mean, those guys might have been weird, but they didn't act.
Weird, like quirky. Jim Harbaugh's quirky.
He's
dude.
weird.
He wants to smack everybody on the chest and be like,
John is much more buttoned down.
That's why I want Jim.
I'd rather have John.
I feel
At
like
the end of the day, it's entertainment. You watch football for entertainment.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh's more
No,
entertainment.
who would you rather have as a
100 thank you. That's an
who
easy
would you rather
way to
have
say
as a
it.
better coach?
Well, it's saying who to pick your team, to coach your team, not
I'd rather have John.
who's going to win more games.
I'd rather have John.
I don't know who's going to win more games. Honestly, like at this rate, I think both are almost
Phenomenal.
indistinguishable in who's going to win more
John
games.
clearly has the edge against Jim, but
Right.
we're gonna have some fun.
Well,
We might live in a
don't
van.
the big brothers always on? No, not in my house.
No, the big brothers don't always own the little brothers. Come on,
All right.
that's bullshit.
Next one. Where should Daniel Jones end up and where will Daniel Jones end up?
Well, Daniel Jones should end up on the San Francisco 49ers if he wants to right the ship for his career, if he wants to, get the most
Because they did that for Darnold.
if he wants to
Yeah.
get the most,
rehab.
if he wants to go to rehab, put the cell phone away. Like when you check into San Francisco, you put your cell phone from your old situation in the box. They lock it up, and you just go learn.
What about Minnesota?
I could see Minnesota, but what's his role in Minnesota?
Well, he's
Third string?
backup this
Yeah,
year.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd be back. He's
What-
going to be a
the,
backup.
the team
anywhere
that
next
should
year.
go get him, and,
Yeah, but I'm
and
saying
people will
third or
differ.
second.
People will differ on this
I
because
think
he's not
Darnold's
a
gonna be
quick
gone.
processor, but Miami should go get him.
Yes.
And just
Miami.
in case it happened, something happened to Tua again. Just in case.
I like that, actually. I like that call a lot.
You know
I
what?
think that's accurate.
You're right.
Yeah, just in case.
I still think San Francisco, but I like that.
Yeah.
And we could go see Daniel Jones play.
There you
Even
go.
better. All right. What team currently not in the playoffs will make the playoffs?
Buccaneers.
Bucks.
Yeah, I think that one's like that.
Bucks. That's easy.
There's not really a lot of other teams that are even potentially. So, I mean, the NFC West, right? You could say, I think Seahawks are technically at the forefront right now.
Yep.
So you could say Cardinals, Rams,
I think it's
49ers,
I think
whatever.
the Bucks is the easy one.
But I do think the Bucks. You just look at the remaining
That's that
schedules.
low-hanging fruit, son.
Yeah.
So the Bucks have at Carolina, Raiders, Chargers, at Dallas, Carolina, New Orleans. I mean, the only one I'm worried about there is the Chargers.
Yep.
They should,
I mean, Carolina's no
And then
pushover, New
compare-
Orleans no pushover, but
Right.
they're the better team.
and then compare it to the Falcons schedule.
Falcons, Chargers, at Vikings, at Raiders, Giants, at Commanders, Carolina. So the Falcons basically have 2 more losable games
Right.
on that schedule. Vikings.
Like you can
and
see the
Washington
Bucks.
both on the road.
The Chargers game is in Tampa, right?
Chargers game is at home for both the Falcons and the Bucks.
You could see Tampa actually running that table.
100%.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah,
I do
So
think they make
it's
plays.
Tampa. Here's one crazy one. The Cowboys win Thursday, and they should. They're 5-7.
Don't.
Now the schedule's.
Yo.
I mean, they're not going to do it, but it isn't impossible.
I'm trying to
No.
figure out why Jerry Jones
Giants
has a play
Thursday.
sheet. Why does Jerry Jones have a call sheet in the suite?
No, they got
did
the
you see
Eagles
that?
and Commanders at the end of the
Did you see
schedule. They're
Jerry
not
Jones
gonna-
with a call sheet?
but-
But Dak could be back.
And plus, will they play?
Oh, that's also a thing. Eagles could have it wrapped up by then.
Right.
Well, Commanders will have to because that's who they're going to have to overtake.
Cooper Rush is balling,
to get
dude.
into the playoffs for
Maybe.
the Cowboys. So that one.
But they already beat the Commanders at their place.
Yeah.
I mean, as crazy as it is, it's not out of the question.
Who is a rookie making a big impact that's getting the least amount of hype?
Roma Dunze?
Rome's good, man. I
He's been
mean,
doing a really good job.
I like that call in terms of he's gotten hate for his stat lines. He's gotten, passed up. People are like, did they make the wrong decision? Should they have drafted no lineman? They're questioning the pick.
Yeah.
Just watch the tape, and he is
There's a 6-game stretch where he was
Exactly as
unguardable,
advertised.
but the ball didn't go to him.
exactly as advertised.
Graham
Since
Barton.
Thomas Brown
Graham
came
Barton.
back, they throw him
Graham
the ball
Barton's
a lot
good.
more.
Graham
Graham Barton,
Barton.
good player.
I liked Graham Barton call. I'll give a shout out to Evan Williams, the safety for the Green Bay Packers. He's
Tennessee
been-
whiskey.
kind of changed that defense and the paradigm
Been very
of what
good.
they're able to do by emerging as like a playmaking starter at safety. So big fan of his game. Is there a special teams problem, last one here, in the NFL right now?
Yeah, they're playing it.
I agree with that take 100%. Get it out. Let's get it out of the game. Why do we have kickers?
I'm with you.
Why do we have punters?
I'm with you.
The game would be more fun if you just had to go for every 4th down.
Okay, this is one of those conversations where, and we're on camera, and like if I say something, I'll take that step and you can never go back. I think I agree with you guys
It would
It's
it would be
it's
more
on
fun.
special
It's
teams.
awful.
I think
I've hated special teams
and
my
you know
entire
what else
life.
sucks about special teams? That they have to pull guys out of the offensive or defensive meetings sometimes for the
Yeah.
they're late for meetings.
And I think
Start at the 20.
No, here's how you start. You start with a blind wager of where you would be willing to start with the football. So if I say I'll start at the 10, but then the other team says I'll start at my own 5, they get the ball. The team that says I'll start at my own 5.
Got
gets the
it.
ball.
Whoever takes the
So you
most risk.
start with a blind wager of where
Instead
you
of
start.
for the kickoff.
That's wild.
Or you could just flip the coin.
because there's no punting. So if you said your own 1, you'd be a little crazy
But what
because
if
then
you
you'd
just
have
flip
to.
the coin?
Well,
It's-
it'd be more-
everybody
it would add
starts
an
at the
element.
20. Then you're adding more strategy to people who
But you
watch it
want
as it
strategy.
is.
You guys said you want to. Okay, so I said it, but I don't know. I'm like wrestling with this because there's so much. It's so exciting for it
That's
to come
funny.
down to a kick.
I got a great story of this. Last year at the owners' meetings, we're standing there, and this guy that I know from Jacksonville, he says, I heard you on the radio the other day talking about how you hate special teams and they're get rid of it and everything and do it. And just as he's saying that to me, John Fossil's walking, because he's there for the kickoff stuff. He's walking into the bathroom and he comes back out and the guy goes, that wasn't me. He said it. And I go, yeah, it was me. I go, we need to get rid of special teams. They stink. You guys say, I go, you guys say they're a third of the game. You know what they actually are? They're 16% of the game. And he goes, well, 16 point, whatever. And I go, yeah, that counts extra points. It's garbage. Get rid of it. I hate special teams. I've always
We
hated
still
special
need
teams.
punt return.
No, you don't.
No, you just
Play.
go for on 4th down. If you don't
Play.
get it, the other team gets
So
the
you
ball.
got okay. Whoa.
Yeah. The problem will be has
No
many
kicking.
too many plays. You have a lot of plays.
So in a game called football, there will be no usage of the feet on the ball.
right, you line up and you go for 2.
So now
and
we
you
got to
go-
change the name.
your extra point
I say we
Foot shapes.
rebrand it as just ball.
ball.
Yeah.
Ball.
Mm.
No specialists.
The NBL.
Hey, you put your extra point is on. You can go for it. You can go for it from the 1. You get 1 point. From the 3, you get 2 points. So all kinds of things. It's football.
My
that's
brain
why
just exploded.
That's why people gave me crap on Thursday. I'm surprised you two didn't. But
all the analytics guys are out of a job.
Where
now.
you're from, where you two are from, I'm surprised you guys didn't see my tweet on Thursday saying I hate snow games. It ruins the.
Yeah,
I hate them.
Yeah,
because it's not football. Special teams is not football. If we got rid of special teams, the whole game would be football.
Yeah.
It would be the way we like
God,
it.
that's a wild. I mean, I've never looked at it from that perspective. I've always just been like, it's part of the game and it's out of our hands.
Why are you not kicking the ball out of the damn end zone every single time? Like if you're Washington after you scored the other day, you kick it to Turpin. Why? Yeah. Why? Give him the ball to 30. Why are these teams even messing with it?
That's funny that you're asking the Washington kicker to aim the football.
Well, he had actually had a good year up until the other day.
And the snapper skipped it to him.
Yeah, that was bad.
Nobody was berating the snapper.
No.
I'm not saying berate anybody.
Berate the snapper. He screwed up. You got one job, you blew it that day.
All right. That was the last one. We're going to draft now.
It's a good debate.
Yeah.
The best rookie quarterback seasons of all time. So we each get 3.
Just deleted special teams, bro.
Hopefully no kickers who are listening or their families.
Hey, then you go back to playing soccer.
Yeah, exactly. You can go back to a game you're actually.
Yeah, and this will help our U.S. team in soccer.
They get to kick more that way.
We'll just win more.
Yeah.
The National Ball League.
Best rookie QB seasons. I think it's Kyle. Right? Each get 3.
I get to go first?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to go first, but if I'm gonna pick one that I think would translate into now, like if I had to pick one of these guys now, it'd be RG3, just based on the fact that he could do everything, and the Shanahan offense is brilliant.
Yeah, his rookie season was. I mean, he didn't win. He did win. He did win Rookie of the Year that year.
Yeah,
but
and then he got hurt in the playoffs. That was
got hurt. Well, he got hurt before the playoffs.
I was at his first
and then they kept doing him
and then he
dirty.
really tore it.
I remember in the playoffs. I mean, his first game was at New Orleans that year, and I went and covered that when I was going to games.
Opening play touchdown, like 80
amazing.
yards, right?
It was amazing. My rookie will be Cam Newton's rookie year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was
explosive.
It was sensational that year.
Steve Smith.
Yeah, I mean, he could run it. I think he ran for 700 yards that year, and big physical and threw the ball around. I'll take Cam Newton's rookie.
Give me Andrew Luck's rookie year.
Yeah.
He was just insane. He was getting demolished. That offense back,
Pep Hamilton.
Pep Hamilton. It was just like 7-step. And it had just the worst offensive line. And he was just getting clobbered and still going. Kind of ruined his career, honestly. I think set the tone for what would be a very short career because the guy was banged up 24/7.
In retrospect, that's crazy because when I took my visit to the Colts pre-draft, Pep Hamilton was like my host, obviously, and he took me into a whiteboard room and he wrote one thing on the board. He wrote 12 and then he circled it like 80 times. And he was like, this is what's important. And now I hear you saying this. I'm like, they killed the guy.
They did.
Unfortunately. All right. Kyle, you're up.
Matt Ryan.
Oh, Homer.
Matty Ice, one of 2 in NFL history rookies to throw for 3,000 yards. First Falcons rookie to win 11 games. Also just was great at avoiding sacks. The guy was, throughout his whole career, just pretty much the same dude. He can do it all, and he was awesome from day one. Matt Ryan.
All right. I have to take him. Danny Marino.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He threw 20 touchdown passes, which is the equivalent of like 35
like 40
now. And he did it he didn't play the entire season. He took over with a couple games in. It was phenomenal.
I'm going to go Big Ben Roethlisberger. 13-0 as a rookie. Guy did not lose a game. 8.9 yards per attempt as a rookie. That was top 5 in the NFL that year. That's crazy stuff.
And they didn't ask a ton of them either.
No.
They were just like, we're going to beat people up at the line of scrimmage, and when it's time to call your number, you're just going to make it happen.
Big Ben was
8.9 per.
Like an idiot savant. That guy he just knew how to play football.
He was a game manager.
He just knew how to play football.
Yeah.
Huge. Mountain of a man.
Tough.
You know who else is huge, tough, talented, handsome, duck? Justin Herbert.
Yeah. That's good.
31 touchdowns passing, most ever. 4,300 yards, 4,376 yards in his rookie year, 122.2 passer rating, multi-touchdown games in 7 consecutive, threw 4 on prime time. People were like, this guy's a freaking horse.
Great one. All right.
Otto Graham in 1946. He had a
Oh,
112 passer rating. I'm not going to take him, but he did.
Did he?
He had 112 passer rating and won the title as a rookie.
We got to watch some Otto Graham film on
Otto
here.
Graham was sensational.
NFL doesn't have
And by the
rights
way,
to
I
that.
wasn't that old, but I've gone back and rewatched a bunch of it. He was fantastic. No, I will take Dak Prescott's rookie year.
Oh, yeah.
He had a great rookie year. Remember, he took over, came in. What do you have? 23 touchdown passes, I think, that year. He was phenomenal. I'll take Dak Prescott.
Oh, that was when
Who were
Romo
his
was back.
receivers? It was Dez and Witten was there.
Witten was there.
DeMarco Murray in the running game was like
Yeah.
I think he led the league in rushing that year, but they had Witten,
Dez Bryant.
Terrence Williams.
Yeah.
Was the number 2. That was a good team.
Good offensive line.
And the Packers beat them in the
Was that
playoffs.
pre or post getting Zach Martin?
That was during. Zach
During.
was there.
That was
Yeah. Martin was
the offensive
funny.
line.
Zach,
That was
Travis Frederick, Tyron
Tyron
Smith.
Smith. They were good. Big.
All right, my last one. I'm going to go Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that was great.
Highest graded by PFF rookie season of all time.
Oh, that means his grades didn't count then. Okay. Sorry, PFF.
We only.
I love PFF, but I love arguing with PFF.
Oh, I know. It's just I am not going to. I know how they grade quarterbacks. I did it for a decade, and I know that there's things that they don't capture that still matter about playing quarterback. That the grade's not an end all be all, but he still is very damn good as a rookie.
He was good his rookie year.
Yeah.
Still hung up on the name change. We need to get rid of the foot in football.
Just the ball league.
National Ball League.
I mean, people think we might be kidding.
No,
I'm
no.
not kidding.
No, I think
This
it'd be
is-
better. I think it'd be a better game.
Yeah, it'd be football.
Wow, more football.
More football.
You know, you get overtime. People tweet, "Oh, free football." I'm like,
How-
you get free football now, 17% more.
Here's the thing. How insane is a 4th down on your own 20-yard line, say? 4th and 10 on your 20-yard line instead of a punt. The punts, everyone's like, oh, okay, you like
How
relax.
much more does that mean now?
Yes, exactly. That 4th down, you're
God,
like
I
locked
love
in.
this.
You're like, "Oof, we don't get this. We're screwed. But
And-
then you get the ball back,
and
and
then
maybe you
you're
get the
going
ball on
for-
their 20-yard line next
and
time.
then
you
you're
stop
going
them.
for it every time inside the 10. There's
So
gonna be
the
no,
only time you can kick is if you drop kick it like Doug Flutie.
No kicking. Just
no kicking.
No,
period.
well,
It's
so
gone.
no goalposts.
No, take
Yeah.
the goalposts out.
We're
You don't need
taking
them.
the goalposts out.
It's literally just football. And again, if the ball's on your own 10, it's 4th and 20 or whatever. You got to
just
throw
give
a
me
bomb.
5 seconds to like emotionally cope with
Okay,
the fact
if
that
you
you're
didn't-
taking the
It
goalposts
just gets so much
away.
more exciting
If you,
because all the dead plays that are punts, that are long field goals, they just don't really
I'm
care
with
about.
you there.
but if you
They're
didn't
gone.
want to, take out the field goals,
You do. No.
but you could
But yeah,
take out you could take out the kickoffs and
Yep.
you take out the punting, and go for 4th down, or
But once you get into range, you can kick a field goal.
You could do that too, because that would change.
See, I think that's the happy medium.
right. I mean,
Okay.
personally, I'd get rid of all of it.
Yeah, I think so too.
But if you wanted to keep the field goal kickers in, because there's situations where you might want to go for a field goal and get points or whatever, and then you just go. If you miss it, then it goes there. If you make it, then you start at your 25 or whatever. You're eliminating kickoffs and punts.
Mhm.
This fires me up, bro.
Here's the other
I
thing.
think
It'd probably be a little safer because you eliminate those kickoffs,
Yes.
those
Yeah.
punts, and all that stuff.
And think about how much less guys are running a week in practice, because you know from being at these practices, when special teams is out there, they do that rep 8 times in a row. These guys are running 60 yards,
And that's
coming back
the other
60
thing.
yards.
You actually would develop lower end roster players because more time in practice would be dedicated
Individual.
to them.
Instead of
You don't
special-
have guys who are just I'm here for special teams.
Right.
You have guys who are like
Correct.
I'm a 5th wide receiver and my job is just to be the best 5th
Correct.
wide receiver possible.
Correct.
Roger Goodell's calling. He likes it.
I've been a
good one.
proponent of that for years. I hate special teams. Always have.
I don't care what they say, Pete. You're a smart guy.
Hated them.
Who says that?
All
All right,
They.
that's our
Right.
show.
They just hover.
We'll be back tomorrow.
That's
Last
fun.
show of the week is tomorrow, obviously with Thanksgiving.
Wait,
We'll be
we're not working Thanksgiving?
Are you?
Yes.
Ouch, that's not for you. With
Yeah,
Legit
I'm doing
Usable
dishes.
doing the full preview
Got real
of
work.
the week slate. Until then, keep pushing.